Welcome to City Insider. In today's video we'll start with Declan Rice says Rico Lewis so tough to play against. After making his £105 million move to Arsenal from West Ham United during the previous summer transfer window, the midfielder has played against City in both of the two Premier League meetings between Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta's sides this season, with both clubs vying to win the Premier League title with only a handful of games left to play. The Gunners' record signing has been reminiscing over his first league meeting with the Blues as an Arsenal player and highlighted one player in the City team he found it tricky to face off against. In a recent interview with The Athletic where he reflected on Arsenal's 1-0 win over City back in October at the Emirates, Rice had this to say about Rico Lewis in one particular moment of the game. He said, "I'm hoping that Rico Lewis is going to jump to Raya so that I can then make a move. It's kind of like a game of chess. Lewis is actually in a good position there because he's defending two of us, Gabriel and Rice. When I move off him, he's got a problem obviously with Jorginho going the other way. We work on that a lot, our midfielders working on different lines and working in relation to one another, so if one moves one way, the other moves the other way and mostly diagonally. And, as you can see in that clip, that's what happened. But I remember this game. It was hard to play out because Rico Lewis was taking up some really tough positions where he's almost doing two roles." Looking back over this game, Lewis had 36 touches of the ball across the 68 minutes he was on the pitch for and was able to accurately complete 29 of the 32 passes he attempted. The 19-year-old also won 3 of the 4 ground duels he was involved in. However, with Rice highlighting how hard Lewis made it to play for Arsenal in terms of the positions he took up on the pitch. This shows just how intelligent the youngster is and how much he's learned from Guardiola. Jorginho Future preparing to discuss. Highly rated Manchester City and Brazil international right-back Jorginho is waiting to meet the club and his agents to discuss his long-term future. According to reports, there is a feeling in some quarters that the full-back positions are areas of Pep Guardiola's first-team squad that Etihad Stadium officials could look to address in the coming summer transfer window. With Jeremy Frimpong having excelled with Bayer Leverkusen throughout their Bundesliga winning campaign, and some coming to terms with the age and deteriorating performances of club captain Kyle Walker, there is a natural exchange of options seemingly available. However, one name closer to home is Jorginho, who remains contracted to Manchester City and could yet come into their thinking having excelled during a hugely impressive campaign on loan with Girona in their La Liga season, according to the information of Mundo Deportivo. As translated and relayed by Sport Witness, Brazilian fullback Jorginho is waiting to meet Manchester City and his representatives in order to find out more about his future beyond this season. It is further detailed that the on-loan Girona defender has a market and will also have a juicy offers from clubs that can offer UEFA Champions League football from next season. Although there is no mention of any specific suitors, Jorginho's existing contract with Manchester City expires at the end of the forthcoming 2024-2025 season, and it remains unclear what stance Etihad bosses will take on a new deal or whether they would like to send him next campaign. With Girona having booked themselves in for a European campaign next season, Manchester City may see their City Football Group sister club as an attractive destination for Jorginho once again. Issa Kabor is another right-back profile that remains under the monitoring of Manchester City, after the defender played out the ongoing season with Premier League side Luton Town on loan from the Etihad Stadium. Oscar Bobb transfer window plans revealed. Manchester City's summer transfer window plans surrounding highly rated forward talent Oscar Bobb have been detailed in a new report this week. The Premier League champions have often seen great worth in sending out their finest young talents elsewhere for much-needed top-level game time and experiences, but it appears as though that rule or approach will not be applied to Oscar Bobb. The last few summer transfer windows have seen Manchester City sanction a number of deals of such nature, with James McAtee rejoining Sheffield United for this season's Premier League campaign, whilst Issa Kabor also moved elsewhere in the top flight at Luton Town. City officials believe first-team experiences and training under Pep Guardiola for another campaign will be the best route forward when it comes to Oscar Bobb. However, with a new report detailing the plans ahead of the upcoming market, that is according to the information of Manchester World's Michael Plant, who reports that Manchester City Academy graduate and senior Norway international Oscar Bobb will not be leaving the Etihad Stadium this summer. While Manchester City have shown a willingness to sanction loan agreements or permanent moves with buyback clauses, The report states that Bobb will not be leaving on a short-term deal or a permanent agreement. Instead, the 20-year-old will once again be given time to develop in Manchester City's first-team squad. According to the same report, regardless of how Etihad Stadium bosses may do business in the upcoming summer transfer window in terms of arrivals, Bobb has seen his first-team opportunities dramatically increase this season, with Cole Palmer's big money move to Chelsea last summer opening up a space in the first-team Etihad Stadium squad for a young name. Across 25 appearances for Manchester City in all competitions, Oscar Bobb has scored 2 goals and providing a further 2 assists, with his most notable moment coming in the Premier League and the scoring of a late winner against Newcastle at St James Park, back in late February, in recognition of his impressive rise in performances and development under Pep Guardiola. Manchester City issued Oscar Bobb with a new 5-year contract and a tripled salary to around £50,000 per week. Pep misses Gundogan. Last summer, Ilkay Gundogan bowed out from Manchester City in fine style. The German midfielder captained Pep Guardiola's style to an iconic treble, which included their first ever Champions League title. A few weeks later, Gundogan announced that he would be joining Barcelona, having reached a pre-contract agreement with the then La Liga champions. Man City tried to convince him to stay, but it wasn't enough. According to MD, Man City believe that they didn't push hard enough to keep Gundogan last summer, which is something they regret. Guardiola believes that his side misses the 33-year-old, who has had a good debut season with Barcelona, despite the club's disappointing campaign. Man City signed Mateo Kovacic and Mateus Nunes as replacements for Gundogan, although neither have been able to live up to the veteran midfielder thus far. They may be regretting his decision to leave, but Barcelona aren't, as they have been pleased with his impact over the course of the season. And that's the final content of today's video. Like, subscribe to support City Insider.